Seems like all the sunshines decided to return pretty quickly, huh? I guess that's nice. And what did I read today? How about this one? It deals with things like, for example, counter drone measures. And this one, they say it was a success. This one here says successful drone detection of Tomorrowland 2024. As it says here, Tomorrowland, one of the world's premier music festivals, celebrated its 20th edition in Boom, Belgium over the last 2 weekends of July. The event attracted 400,000 attendees from over 200 countries, making safety a top priority for all festival goers, staff, and volunteers. To enhance security measures, a temporary geozone zone was established around the festival site, requiring drone operators to obtain flight authorization. Only drones operated by the police and festival organizers were permitted to fly within this area. Possession of drone equipment was also prohibited in the vicinity of the festival. It's kind of interesting how they say drone equipment was prohibited. Do they mean the drone itself or literally anything to do with it? Like batteries, for example? It says to enforce these regulations, the police district of Rupo, responsible for security at Tomorrowland, collaborated with Skate Drone. Skate Drone's drone detection solution enabled the police to monitor air traffic in real time, ensuring compliance with the geozone rules. And from these pictures and stuff anyways, it seems like they install like this little device on the roof of a building to try to get the best, I guess, reception. And it says the system detected more than 1,000 flights over the 2 weekends, executed by only 50 different drones. The majority of these flights were performed by drones from the organization and the police. Hence, more than 90% of all detected drone flights were authorized. On top of being unauthorized, some drones exceeded the maximum height for drones in the open category of 400 feet above ground level for the distance of limit of 500 meters between pilot and drone. Although someone decided to go really high according to this, because it says the highest drone was recorded at 1,642 feet or 500 meters above ground level, and the maximum observed distance between a pilot and his drone was 1,813 meters. As a result of these detections, the police confiscated 11 drones and several violations were reported to the Belgian Civil Aviation Authority. You can expect to see more stuff like this, but it makes you wonder too, with all that topic of things like forcing remote ID on people, making them install additional hardware even on toys and so forth. If you can already detect, let's just say, things like drones with equipments like these, why do you even need all that remote ID stuff? It seems like it's just a waste of money overall, isn't it? In these instances, again, if that's true, you can see exactly where they fly or potentially what model they're flying to, then that would be the better solution if you're that concerned about security around the airspace. And then I read this, which dealt with a drone as well, but it's in a war scenario, and it makes you think again, just in terms of that safety aspect as well. It may be the first time a drone has destroyed a helicopter in mid-air. And it goes on to say here, Ukrainian forces deploy more than 100,000 explosive first-person view drones a month, all along the 700-mile front line of Russia's 28-month wider war on Ukraine. The drone smashes into armored vehicles, chase down exposed infantry, and follow artillery fire back to its origin in order to target Russian howitzers. And today, one of the small quadcopter drones, remotely steered by an operator wearing a virtual reality headset, shot down a Russian helicopter apparently for the first time. Photos and videos that circulated on social media depict the Mi-8 transport helicopter burning near Donetsk in Russian-occupied eastern Ukraine. They do say here too, this new use of explosive drones has been a long time coming. As long as September, Ukrainian operators first tried ramming their flying robots into Russian helicopters mid-flight. The drone threat got so serious that the Russian Air Force began assigning some helicopters to escort other helicopters. It apparently took at least 10 months of trying before a Ukrainian drone operator finally hit a Russian helicopter. The months of misses are understandable. A helicopter can fly faster than 150 miles per hour at altitudes exceeding thousands of feet. Too fast and too high for a 2-pound drone to get a clean shot without an enormous degree of skill or luck on the part of the operator. So a lot of war still, but just the other topic it got me to think of in terms of things, for example, like drone regulation, safety and all that. There are a lot of people still here that argue, for example, someone flying literally a toy, and I'm talking about a toy, a 20-gram drone or something like that, is way too dangerous because it could take down helicopters and all that. But how realistic is that to actually happen? Like in this case, if that is such a high, I guess, probability of happening. Why wouldn't these guys just fly like thousands of 5-gram drones or something like that to take down the helicopters? It's unrealistic, correct? So that's why they need, for example, drones with explosives and all that. I mean, this should be even further example on how many times people are doing nothing wrong. They're flying stuff that are no harm to the public and so forth, but everyone treats it like some huge, for example, manned aircraft with explosives. And that's not the case. So it makes you wonder, will people actually change in that regards in terms of identifying what is actually a threat and what isn't? And this was in the news a lot today. It dealt with the Paris Olympics again, and it makes you wonder, why is there so much controversy with this? What's going on? Apparently this dealt with, I guess, the boxing matches where somebody quit within 46 seconds, as it says here. Boxer Angela Carini quits after 46 seconds against Imane Khelif amid eligibility row. The Paris Olympics boxing gender storm intensified on Thursday after an Italian fighter abandoned her bout inside a minute against a rival who had failed a sex test. Angela Carini broke down in tears as she pulled out of the fight after just 46 seconds, having twice been caught by powerful blows from Algerian fighter Imane Khelif. Khelif was disqualified from last year's World Championships after failing a test set by the International Boxing Association, which said at the time that the 25-year-old's elevated levels of testosterone failed to meet the eligibility criteria for women's competition. She has, however, been ruled eligible for the Games by the International Olympic Committee and now advances into the second round of the women's 66-kilogram tournament. So the argument here is this is actually a man, for example, and one of the tests concludes, I guess, that fact. But what's kind of confusing about this story, as I was trying to read more of the details, apparently this person isn't transgender. The bottom line, from what I gather, they say from the tests that they have done, there was various chromosomes tests. It was determined, for example, like this is, I guess, a male overall. And I did see the clips too. I mean, it looks kind of crazy from my end, like not knowing anything about the situation. To me, at first glance, it would appear that it is, for example, a man versus a woman. But that one punch, it basically apparently potentially broke her nose. So it was like, that's it. I mean, imagine getting hit by a huge brick or a stone or something like that just because of the size difference. He says, speaking afterwards, Carini explained she had never been hit so hard and decided to withdraw because of the intense pain in her nose. Saying, quote, "I'm a mature woman," she said. "The ring is my life. I've always been very instinctive, and when I feel that something isn't right, it's not giving up, it's having the maturity to stop. It's having the maturity to say, okay, that's enough. Regardless of everything, it's okay, fine like this, I didn't lose tonight, I only did my job as a fighter. I got in the ring and I fought, I didn't make it. I'm coming out with my head held high and a broken heart." Even just looking at the still pictures, that must be really disheartening. Let's just assume, for example, the person is determined 100% it's a man and all that. Can you imagine practicing your whole life to get to that stage in the Olympics just to, for example, not have a, quote, fair fight in that sense? Like you have to disqualify just like that? That must be so heartbreaking. All right, see you guys later.